Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Make English Easy. I'm Hazel, and today we're diving into one of the biggest challenges language learners face: translating in your head. If you're someone who thinks in your native language first, then tries to convert those thoughts into English, you know how slow and stressful it can feel. Maybe you pause mid-sentence, searching for the right word. Or maybe you get nervous during conversations because it takes so long to respond. If this sounds familiar, don't worry, you're not alone, and I'm here to help. In this episode, I'm going to share practical, easy-to-understand techniques to help you stop translating and start thinking in English directly. These ideas are backed by science and designed to fit into your daily life no matter where you are. By the end of this, you'll have a clear plan to make English feel natural, fast, and confident. Let's get started. First, let's talk about why translating in your head is such a big problem. When you learn a new language, your brain naturally wants to rely on what it already knows, your native language. So, when someone asks you a question in English like, "What's your favourite food?" you might first think of the answer in your own language, then try to translate each word into English. This process feels like climbing a hill. It's slow, it's heavy, and it makes conversations feel like hard work. Scientists who study how the brain works tell us there are two ways our minds process thoughts. The first is a fast automatic system that works without much effort. It's like driving a car you've driven for years. You don't think about every move, you just do it. The second system is slow and careful. It checks every detail, like solving a math problem step by step. When you translate in your head, you're using that slow system. You're thinking of the sentence in your native language, finding the right English words, checking grammar, and then speaking. Each step takes time, and by the time you're ready to say something, the moment might have passed. Maybe the person you're talking to is waiting and you start to feel nervous. Maybe you even forget a word because you're so focused on translating. This can make speaking English feel exhausting, and it's no wonder so many learners say, "Hazel, I want to speak fluently, but I keep getting stuck." Now imagine a different way. Imagine you're sitting at a restaurant and the waiter asks, "What would you like to drink?" If you're translating, you hear the question. Think of your answer in your native language, like, "I want water." Then try to change it to English. You might pause, think about word order, or worry about saying water correctly. By the time you respond, the waiter is staring, and you feel pressure. But if you think in English directly, it's different. You hear the question, and the words, "I'd like water," come out instantly. No pause, no stress, just a smooth, natural response. This is what thinking in English feels like. It's light, it's quick, and it makes you feel confident. The good news is that anyone can learn to do this. It's not about being born in an English-speaking country or having a special talent. It's about training your brain to connect English words directly to your thoughts, actions, and experiences, instead of going through your native language first. So, how do we make this happen? The secret lies in small, consistent habits. Research on learning shows that practicing a skill in short, frequent bursts is much more effective than long, occasional study sessions. Think about drinking water. You don't drink all the water you need for the day in one big gulp. You take sips throughout the day. Language learning works the same way. Instead of trying to study English for hours once a week, we're going to focus on tiny moments every day. These moments are so small they're almost effortless, but they add up to big changes in how your brain processes English. Let's start with something I call micro moments. These are brief, everyday actions where you describe what you're doing in English. For example, when you open your fridge to grab some milk, don't just do it silently. Say to yourself, "I'm opening the fridge." When you tie your shoes, say, "I'm tying my shoes." When you brush your teeth, say, "I'm brushing my teeth." These sentences are simple, and that's the point. They're easy to say, and they connect English directly to what you're doing. At first, you might say these sentences slowly, and that's okay. You might think, "I am opening the fridge." It feels clunky, but that's normal when you're starting. The more you do it, the faster it gets. After a few days, you'll notice the words come out without thinking. I'm opening the fridge. No translation, no delay, just English. These micro moments are powerful because they train your brain to link actions with English words directly, skipping your native language entirely. Now, you might be wondering, Hazel, these micro moments are so short. How can they make a difference? The answer lies in repetition. Every time you say a sentence like, "I'm washing my hands," you're building a new pathway in your brain. It's like walking through a field of tall grass. The first time you walk through, the path is hard to see. But the more you walk the same route, the clearer the path becomes. Eventually, it's a smooth, easy road. Your brain works the same way. Each micro moment is a step on that path, making English feel more automatic. Over time, these small practices add up, and you'll find yourself thinking in English without even trying. The best part? You can do this anywhere, anytime. You don't need a teacher, a classroom, or a textbook. Whether you're cooking dinner, walking to the bus, or waiting for your coffee to brew, you can sneak in a micro moment. Just one sentence, 3 seconds, and you're training your brain to think in English. Let's take this a step further. Another powerful technique is to create what I call English islands in your day. If you don't live in an English-speaking country, it can feel like your native language is everywhere. On the radio, in shops, in conversations with friends. That makes it hard to think in English, because your brain is surrounded by another language. But you don't need to move to London or New York to make English a part of your life. Instead, you can create small pockets of time where English is the only language you use. These are your English islands. For example, let's say you're having breakfast. For 10 minutes, commit to thinking and speaking only in English. Look at your plate and say, "This is toast. The toast is warm. I'm drinking juice. The juice is cold." Keep it simple, but make sure every thought is in English. Later in the day, you could create another English island, maybe 15 minutes while listening to an English song or podcast. During that time, focus on the words, the rhythm, the emotions. Don't let your native language creep in. At first, your English islands might be short. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. That's perfectly fine. Small is good, because small is doable. Over time, you can make your islands longer, or add more of them. Maybe you have an English island during your lunch break, or while you're exercising. The more islands you create, the more your brain gets used to thinking in English. Slowly, those islands will grow, and you'll find yourself using English more naturally throughout the day. I know what some of you are thinking. Hazel, I want to try this, but I don't live in an English-speaking country. How can I make these islands work? That's a great question, and it's one I hear a lot. Not everyone can travel or live abroad, but that doesn't mean you can't surround yourself with English. You just have to be creative. For example, change the language on your phone to English. When you check your messages or set an alarm, you'll see English words. Watch a short YouTube video in English every day, even if it's just a 5-minute clip. Pick something fun, like a cooking tutorial or a travel vlog, and pay attention to the words. If you like music, listen to English songs and try to sing along, even if you don't know all the lyrics. These small choices create an environment where English feels normal. You're building a little English world inside your daily life. And the more you do this, the less you'll rely on translating. Your brain will start to see English as a natural part of your day, not something you have to force. Another key to stopping translation is changing how you learn new words. Many learners make a common mistake. When they learn an English word, they immediately connect it to a word in their native language. For example, if you learn the word cat, you might think of the word for cat in your language. This feels helpful at first because it's quick and familiar, but it creates a problem. Every time you want to say cat, your brain has to go to your native language first, find the word, then switch back to English. That extra step slows you down. Instead, try connecting the English word to a picture or a feeling. Let's say you're learning the word cat. Don't think of the translation. Close your eyes and imagine a soft, fluffy cat. Picture its fur. Hear its purr. Imagine petting it. Now, when you hear cat, your brain goes straight to that image, not to another language. This is how children learn languages. A child doesn't translate dog into another word. They see a dog, hear dog, and the connection is made. You can do the same. For example, when you learn the word rain, don't translate it. Imagine standing outside, feeling raindrops on your face, hearing the sound of water hitting the ground. Connect the word to the experience. This takes practice, but it's incredibly effective. Over time, your brain will link English words directly to ideas, not translations, and your speaking will feel faster and more natural. Here's another technique that might feel a little unusual at first, but it's one of the most powerful tools you can use. Talking to yourself. Psychologists call this self-talk, and it's like having a conversation with yourself in English. You can do it quietly in your head or out loud when you're alone. For example, as you're getting ready in the morning, say, "Now I'm putting on my shoes." When you're walking to work or school, say, "I'm walking to the bus stop." The weather is nice today. At the end of the day, you might say, I worked hard today. I'm proud of myself. This isn't just random talking, it's a way to practice English in a safe, private space. You don't need a partner or a teacher. You're your own English coach. Self-talk helps because it gets you used to forming sentences in English without pressure. You're not worried about making mistakes or what someone else thinks. Plus, it's free and available all the time. The more you talk to yourself in English, the more comfortable you'll feel forming sentences. Eventually, those sentences will come out without any effort, and you'll notice you're thinking in English more often. Let's put all these ideas together into a simple plan you can try for 1 week. This plan is designed to be easy and fit into your daily routine, no matter how busy you are. In the morning, start with a 5-minute English island during breakfast. Look at your food and describe it in English. This is an egg. The egg is hot. I'm drinking coffee. Keep it simple, but stay in English the whole time. Throughout the day, use micro moments. Every time you do something small, like opening a door, checking your phone, or washing a dish, say one English sentence about it. For example, I'm opening the door, or I'm checking my messages. Aim for at least 10 micro moments each day. They're quick, so it's easy to fit them in. In the evening, create another English island. Spend 10 minutes watching a short English video, like a clip from a TV show or a YouTube channel you enjoy. Pay attention to how the speakers sound, their tone, their emotions, and try to copy them. Before bed, do a little self-talk. Take 2 minutes to think about your day and describe it in English. Today I went to work. I talked to my friend. I ate pasta for dinner. That's it. This plan doesn't take much time, but if you do it every day, you'll start to notice a difference. Your brain will begin to connect English to your daily life, and translating will happen less and less. If you stick with this plan, here's what will happen. At first, thinking in English will feel slow. You might hesitate when you say, I'm brushing my teeth, or you might need to think carefully about the words. That's normal. Your brain is building new connections, and that takes time. But after a few days, those sentences will come faster. You'll open the fridge and think, I'm opening the fridge, without even trying. You'll hear an English question and answer it without translating first. These small changes are signs that your brain is moving from the slow, careful system to the fast, automatic one. You're not just learning English. You're rewiring how you think. And the best part is that it doesn't feel like hard work. You're not memorizing grammar rules or studying long vocabulary lists. You're just living your life with a little bit of English sprinkled in. Now let's address a common worry. Hazel, what if I make mistakes? This is something I hear from so many learners. You might be afraid that your micro moments or self-talk sentences aren't perfect. Maybe you say, I open fridge, instead of, I'm opening the fridge. That's okay. Mistakes are part of learning. When you're practicing on your own, there's no one to judge you. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to get comfortable thinking in English. Every time you try, even if it's not perfect, you're teaching your brain to use English naturally. Over time, you'll learn the correct grammar and words just by hearing and using them more. So don't let fear of mistakes stop you. Every sentence, even a messy one, is a step forward. Another question I often get is, Hazel, how long will it take to stop translating completely? The truth is, it depends. Everyone's brain is different, and it depends on how often you practice. If you use micro moments and English islands every day, you'll start noticing changes in a few weeks. Simple sentences will feel easier, and you'll catch yourself thinking in English without planning it. For more complex thoughts, like explaining your opinions or telling a story, it might take a few months of consistent practice. But here's the exciting part. You don't have to stop translating all at once. Every time you use one of these techniques, you're reducing how much you rely on translation. It's like turning down the volume on your native language and turning up the volume on English. The more you practice, the quieter that translation voice gets, until one day you realize you're thinking in English without even trying. Before we wrap up, let's talk about one more idea: using emotions to make English stick. When you learn a new word or phrase, try to connect it to a feeling. For example, let's say you're learning the phrase, I'm excited. Don't just memorize it. Think of a moment when you felt excited. Maybe it was when you got a new job or saw a beautiful sunset. Say the phrase, I'm excited, while remembering that feeling. This makes the words more meaningful, and your brain is more likely to remember them. Emotions are like glue for your memory. That's why watching English videos or listening to music is so helpful. You're not just hearing words, you're feeling the excitement, humour, or sadness in the story. Try to mimic those emotions when you practice. If you're watching a funny video, repeat a line with the same silly tone. If you're listening to a song, sing along with the same energy. This helps your brain connect English to real-life experiences, not just to translations. So, my friends, here's the big picture. Translating in your head is natural when you're starting out, but it doesn't have to be the way you speak forever. By using micro moments, creating English islands, connecting words to images and feelings, and practicing self-talk, you're training your brain to think in English directly. These techniques are simple, but they're powerful because they fit into your life. You don't need to change everything about your day. You just need to add a little English here and there. Think of it like planting seeds. Each micro moment, each English island is a seed you're planting in your mind. With time and care, those seeds grow into confidence, fluency, and the ability to think in English without effort. Thank you so much for joining me on Make English Easy. I'm Hazel, and I believe in you. You don't need to be perfect, and you don't need to live in an English-speaking country. You just need to take small steps every day. Try the 1-week plan, a morning English island, 10 micro moments a day, an evening video, and some bedtime self-talk. See how it feels, and let me know how it goes. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. Bye for now.